Am I the asshole for sleeping with my sister's boyfriend, but it's not what it sounds like? My sister, 26F, is dating and soon to be engaged to my 25X ex-boyfriend 26M. I know he's planning on proposing, or was, as I was helping him. When I was 16, I dated my sister's now boyfriend for about 6 months. It wasn't a super serious relationship, but we, as most teenagers do around that age, had cracked. We did it a few times, but it was nothing obscene. The relationship ended amicably because we simply didn't want to date anymore. There were no harsh feelings, and we remained pretty good friends throughout high school and college. When my sister was around 23, she moved back to our hometown a year or so after college, and he was living here as well. They began to spend time together, and she asked if it would bother me if they began to date. I had absolutely no problem with it and told her there were absolutely no weird feelings, and I didn't even consider him a serious relationship as it was nearly 10 years ago. They've now been dating for the past 3 years, and he plans to propose and has even asked for my help. Now for the actual conflict. About a week ago, I, my sister, her boyfriend, and a few of our mutual friends went to a dinner. During one of the conversations, my sister made a joke about how he better propose soon because she was starting to feel like an old maid. Her words. I asked her what she meant, and she said they were both saving themselves for marriage. I asked her if she meant just in this relationship or if she was saving herself, period. She said they have both been saving themselves their whole life. I gave her boyfriend a strange look from across the table, and she caught it. She asked why I looked at him weird, and I said it was nothing, and I tried to move past it. She insisted I tell her why because she thought I was judging them. I confessed that we had sex in high school, and although it didn't really mean anything, she was still pretty mad. Either way, she got mad at him first for lying, and somehow he managed to convince her that never happened, and then she got mad at me for making stuff up and, I direct quote, try to sabotage our future marriage because you're not over him. I told her I was, in fact, completely over him, and that I was also not lying, and that they both got up and left. My friends know I was telling the truth and have tried to contact her and back me up. She hasn't answered any of them and texted me the day after saying that I wouldn't be invited to the future wedding if I didn't admit that I was just being a liar. I do feel really bad and I wish I hadn't said anything or lied about why I looked at him, but I felt like I owed it to her because she's my sister and he was lying. Should I have handled it differently? Not have told her at all, etc.? Am I the asshole? Commenter. If he was banging you at 16, then there's a pretty strong chance he banged others from 17 to 23, right? Anyways, not an asshole. Commenter 2. I would be willing to bet that the issue of whether he'd had cracked with you specifically was brought up early on, and it bothered her so he decided to lie about it because that would have seemed easier to him than dealing with the whole issue. You are not responsible for facilitating his lies, and you are not the asshole for being honest with her, but I doubt their relationship survives. I mean, it's not really your fault, right? I mean, you just told her the truth. He's the one that lied. He could have been honest, but he could have been honest and not even mentioned your name when he said he had already slept with someone. But however, you could have also hid it from them. Like if she says that and then you kind of go along with it and then you ask him like why the fuck are you lying to my sister? Right? But maybe the truth is that he's only ever slept with you and then like maybe he just didn't want his sister to know or your sister to know. And in that case, I don't think I could blame him because that's kind of weird. Like, imagine just like I slept with your sister, and now I'm gonna marry you. It's like it just seems a little weird to me. I mean, it's probably not a big deal to be honest. If I'm being like completely honest, it's like when they were 16, it wasn't a big deal, and then they broke up literally because they just weren't feeling each other anymore. Like, it's probably not as deep as her. They all make it to be, but let's just see what happens in the update, I guess. Update. Okay, so first off, I'm going to start with some context to clear up some confusion I was seeing. My sister and I grew up kind of religious with pretty old fashioned parents. I didn't really buy into any of the religion stuff, but my sister did. Not quite as much as my parents, but definitely more than me. They always told us to wait until marriage, but I clearly did not listen to them, and I guess it never occurred to me that my sister probably did. The reason she never knew about us sleeping together is because I didn't tell her because I thought she might tell my parents, and I didn't want to deal with them. The reason I didn't know she was waiting is because she has always been one to keep that kind of thing to herself and is very set on having her own privacy. When I say that we weren't in a serious relationship in high school, it's because I'm a firm believer that no high school relationship is really that serious. We also both knew that we weren't planning on staying together forever. We only slept together maybe 2 or 3 times, which in my mind isn't very serious, even for teenagers. When my sister asked me if I would be okay with them dating, she specifically asked if I would find it weird or uncomfortable, and I told her as long as she wasn't bothered by the fact that we used to be a couple, I had no reservations. She said that she didn't mind at all, which I mistakenly took as she knew we slept together and didn't care. I'd always known him to be pretty truthful, and I never took it to mean that he actually completely lied to her. At dinner, the three of us were sitting at one end of the table and having the argument very quietly, so my friends didn't know what was happening until they got up and left. Otherwise, they would have probably defended me right there. After I confessed that we slept together, he said something along the lines of that never happened and I don't know why she would lie. I insisted I wasn't lying, but I also wasn't trying to be hurtful. He said some BS about how maybe their talk of marriage made me jealous and stirred up old feelings. That's when she turned on me and they left. Now to the update. My sister came over this morning and we had a conversation and made amends. She told me that he had proposed a few days ago, but she hadn't told anyone because what I said was still weighing on her. She said that last night she went through his phone and found out that he has been cheating on her repeatedly for most of their relationship and that he slept with people before they were even together. She confronted him this morning and they had a huge argument where he said the reason he lied is because he knew it was important to her that they were both virgins and she wouldn't have stayed with him if she found out he wasn't one, and he really does love her and wants to marry her. She thankfully did not believe him and ended it. She came straight over to apologize and hear my side of the story. I asked her why she blindly believed him and left the restaurant and wouldn't answer me and said that she was embarrassed because waiting till marriage has always been a big deal to her and she didn't want to believe that he wasn't as committed to her as she was to him. I, of course, accepted her apology and we both decided to move past it and always trust each other. She also has decided she's going to take some time to reconsider what values are most important to her. All is now well. Our ex is totally an asshole, and please don't say anything rude about my sister. I love her a ton, and she just had a weak moment. Well, I don't have anything bad to say about your sister, but as for your ex-boyfriend, he seems like a terrible person, bro. First, he gets caught in a lie, and he immediately goes to doubling down on that lie. And second, he said some BS about how maybe their talk of marriage made me jealous and stirred up old feelings. That right there is enough to know what type of person he is, right? If he doesn't want to just own up to it and take responsibility, and instead he's gonna cause a rift between you two sisters, like, or try to, at least at that dinner, anyways, is a terrible thing to say. Even if he said sorry for that, like, clearly what he did to your sister was, not right at all. I mean, cheating on someone is never okay in the slightest, you know? Low key, unless they cheated on you first and you're that type of person who's got to get your get back, then I could probably understand it, you know? Like, if someone cheats on you and you cheat on them, it's like, you two rights don't make a wrong, but I'm not gonna say that you were in the wrong. I don't know if that makes any sense, you know? Maybe it's more like I don't really care about it because it's not my relationship, is probably what that situation would be like. But I don't really know what to say. Your ex-boyfriend's just a dick, basically. That's all I got, bruh. Anyways, let me know what you all think in the comments below, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.